Going live. Should I pay attention to the live or to the
No, you pay
Zoom?
attention to the Zoom. There's going to be like a couple second delay, and we're live now anyway, so there's a couple second delay.
There you go. We're live.
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to I guess this will be the first episode of the Agent Authority podcast. I'm your host, Martin Elefant. I'm here today with real estate skill builder coach and EXP agent, I would say,
Yeah.
Dave Fanale. How's it going? How's it going, Dave?
It's going amazing. It's going amazing.
Right.
Snowing here on the East Coast today, so
yeah,
nice.
it's,
cool.
It's been crazy. I couldn't even shovel today because I had surgery this past week. Doing much better now, but finally glad that I'm back in the chair, back at work. So I wanted to talk today about real estate marketing strategy in 2021 and just kind of like get your take on where you see the real estate market going, especially with the fact that in 2020 we had this incredible boom, I would say, in the amount of virtual tours and FaceTime videos that accumulated into actual sales and transactions of property. And I kind of want to get your 2 cents on how you thought the market was in 2020 and where you really see it going, I would say, for 2021.
When we talk about, thank you for having me, by the way. I really appreciate it. Love the work you do. And we've known each other a little while and follow each other. And here's the interesting part about what happened in 2020 and what will happen in 2021 is that it's almost a product of what happened in 2019 and 2018 and so on and so forth. I mean, when we talk about virtual stuff and doing things virtually and digitally, I think, depending on what happens, like we're now recording this in December of 2020, and we're still in the middle of this fun thing called the pandemic. And and before the pandemic, everybody was saying, 2020 is going to be a great year. Things are going to start skyrocketing, and everybody was predicting something to fall off at the end of it. I don't think we're going to see that. I mean, there might be an economic problem, but it's not going to affect real estate. That's for sure. The reason that we've had such a changeover in 2020, of course, is the pandemic. But there was never. I don't believe that we actually hit the peak that we should have in 2020 because of the pandemic. I mean, there has been a scurry, and there still is a scurry for residential real estate. I'm not going to get into the facts and figures of commercial real estate, because that's a different animal in and of itself. But there's a lot of great transactions about to happen in that realm. But 2020, we had a hesitation, we had a hiccup, we had middle of March, everything stopped, and people didn't know what the hell to do. I've been actually teaching and coaching virtual real estate for about 5 or 6 years, and funny thing is that I really couldn't get a lot of people to buy into it, years ago. Guess who's buying into it now?
Everybody.
Well, here's the thing, right?
Skeptics.
So in 2019 and prior to, it was a blue ocean, right? As of now, it went very quickly from a blue to a red ocean. Why? You've had people that didn't know what they're doing it, who are being successful at it. You've had people that were successful at it that think they've got something now and they want to sell how to do it. Cool, right? But then you have the early adopters and you have the consistent adopters. So there's usually like the early adopters, the other adopters, and the late adopters, right? I'm looking at the consistent adopters. So you're going to see a lot of agents who are doing it go back to what they used to do. I mean, think about this, Martin. If you look at a real estate transaction, right? If you look at, and this is completely from a buddy of mine, Sean Chalice, who talked about, went to a whiteboard and wrote down everything that goes on with a real estate transaction, be it a listing or a sale. If you actually take out everything you do not have to be present for, what's left? Not a heck of a lot. Before you didn't have to be present for it, but you always were, right? Think about this. why would you want to have to drive somewhere and fight through traffic when you don't have to? People are going to be anal about control when they really don't control it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as we move forward into the next year of 2021, you're going to see the consistent adopters of 2020 remain so. Yes, there are people that are going to do things in person. I think what's going to happen is you're going to have the good ones, the ones that do it well and who are profiting at it, give options that or not give options. And what I mean by that is they're going to give the option to, we can do it in person, meaning if you like, or we can do it just as you and I are doing this broadcast right now, right?
Yeah, do more Zoom style, online
Right.
digital Zoom calls, yeah.
Right. I mean,
I see that as the future, because I've seen that not only real estate, but almost every industry saw a massive change during the pandemic, and the effect was that a lot of people got furloughed, but a lot of people also, now they're just working from home and they're doing every meeting via Zoom. And I find it amazing where now even school is going online digital, and e-commerce digital courses in general is now, I hear it's going to be like a multi-billion-dollar industry by the end of this year and possibly next year, which I think is insane, and it's crazy, but it really starts putting things in perspective of why being online and putting yourself out there on video and on images is so important right now. And I really wanted to talk to you about in 2021 how agents, teams, and brokerages can really structure and focus on creating content for all the platforms. And my first question to you would really be, what would you say are the best? I would say best platform for an agent to be on, and then what would you say would be should be the secondary platform for them to really focus on creating content and building their business on?
so in my opinion, I mean, the important platform for most agents to be on, and also is going to depend on what their niche market is and who their target market is. So before I get into that answer, the agent needs to know who their customer is, right? They need to ask questions such as, you know, who are they? How old are they? Where do they live? Where do they shop? How do they travel? What kind of car do they have? So on and so forth, and getting really down into the nitty-gritty of it. They will probably never be able to answer any of those questions or many of those questions, but they're going to get an idea of who their customer is. Knowing that, they're going to know where they hang out socially, meaning the social channel, right?
Which platform, yeah.
Right. So taking that all into consideration, I'm going to say still today, the number one platform is going to be Facebook still. And the number two platform, or shall I say 1A, is Instagram. Everything else is YouTube. YouTube, you need to have a presence on YouTube with your video if you're doing video. You know, if you're not doing video, that's a shame. Maybe, you know, if you're not doing social, well, if you're not doing social, you're not going to see this broadcast, right? But if someone has to tell you about it, I want you to understand something. There's a lot of people I meet, all agents, that want nothing to do with social media. My advice to them is, is your resume ready? Is your resume ready? Because you're going to need to find a real job. Because if you're going to be in real estate, you have to understand something. You are now a public figure. Being a public figure, you need to provide relevant content. You see, a real estate professional, Martin, is three things, right? They're a real estate agent, they're a technologist, and they're a constant creator of relevant content. In the manner
you're basically a digital marketing company.
Yeah, but that real estate agent part is the really important part that's never going to go away, in my opinion. I mean, we've got these iBuyer and Zillow offers and all these things going on all around us, right? Where it's all digital, you never see anybody, and Z-Buyer and all that stuff, right? But you're never going to be replaced. You know, no matter who's in the market, you might replace the brick and mortar, because I honestly think, and you know how I feel about this, is my theory on bricks and mortar brokerages, the model, it's broken. That doesn't mean bricks and mortar companies are obsolete or they're not going to be around in 10 years. It just means that the model's broken. The same with the coaching model. The coaching model that you see and have seen through all the big names, I take that back. Some of the big names, those models are broken, plain and simple. I don't work in those models, but as far as channels to get back to the question, it's going to be Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and whatever you can do on the other channels. I mean, I had agents talking about, I got to get into TikTok. Everybody's doing it. Relax. Just relax.
Yeah, because everyone keeps talking about TikTok because every time there's a new platform, like obviously you get massive organic reach. So people are kind of just saying that the platform is going to mature, and it already has. It used to be 13-year-olds, 12, 13-year-olds. Now it's 20 to 30-year-olds. So like it's starting to mature, and eventually it's going to continue to get even more mature, where it could be a very similar platform to Instagram, because even Instagram started introducing Instagram Reels, which is basically TikTok videos.
Right.
And
Right.
and TikTok already introduced being able to go live. So it's like when TikTok starts making it so that you can, TikTok is basically Instagram, just only video and no stories. That's all it is. So you're basically constantly posting videos, and you can create videos on any platform. They could be entertaining, they could be funny, they could be educational. So it's a great platform, I think, for anyone trying to build a brand and get as much people to see it as possible organically for free. TikTok's the best place to go. But yeah, I think that definitely Facebook, I think, is the number one platform for real estate agents to be, especially with the advertising platform that's on it, to be able to generate some leads for their business. But I wanted to talk about building a brand and being able to lead generate on social media, and back to kind of touch on what you said originally about being able to, that a real estate agent is three things. It's a real estate agent, it's a marketer in a sense, and creating content. And I really wanted to touch on the content part, and really dive in, because I feel like a lot of people try too hard, and they overthink the types of videos that they should be creating for social media. And I feel like it really comes down to a few things. What do the people that are buying and selling and investing want to know about? And how can you help them? And I feel like if you're able to touch on those 2 points in any form, the videos you create will do well if you're just posting them on social for free, but also if you want to use them for advertising, because building a brand is just getting those videos seen by the right people who are interested in doing business.
True. We have to also look at the personal factor of it too. I mean, as I said, public figure, right? That did not mean that you are just a real estate agent and that's all you post. People want to know about you. I mean, look, the thing that we're on right now, and these things, and this thing, right? What is it? What are they? Another name for them are TVs, televisions. And why is this what I think are stupid shows, the Housewives of the Potomac, the Housewives of New Jersey? That next thing is going to be the Housewives of the Mississippi River, and Jed Clampett's going to be the star. Right?
The housewives of Facebook, the housewives of Instagram.
Yeah, exactly, right. So my point is, it's reality. I mean, The Voice, American Idol. That was one of the first out there. That was all reality TV. It was real stuff happening. People being upset, people crying because they got cut. That's real. People like to see that, and they like to see you real too. People that want to produce videos, that's cool. If they look too good, I'm not interested. I want to see real stuff. I want to see real stuff. I want to see.
So you're
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're basically touching on someone who I follow a lot, Gary Vaynerchuk. He always says, he's like, document your journey. He's like, stop trying to create the content that people want to know. He's like, just take a camera and just film what you're doing. Show people the behind the scenes. Show them you going through building your business, and that will build. Yeah, exactly. Vlogging in a sense.
And I'm sure you've gotten this question, Martin, in your experience, where people say, well, how much should I post and where should I post it? Here's my theory. And it goes along with what Gary Vee said. And I first got this idea from Chris Smith, the curator. Give me the $1.80 version of yourself. Give me your 2 cents 90 times a day.
Yep.
Plain and simple. I'll give you a good example, and I'll name drop again. a woman by the name of Chelsea Pites, um, marketing expert, marketing guru, uh, world-known author. If you're friends with her, if you see her on Instagram or on Facebook, her Instagram stories, I mean, there's just so many of them. I mean, I can't. I mean, honestly, I can't take it. There's just so much, right? But it's about a day in the life, you know. So I watched about probably about 5 minutes of her stuff earlier today, and it was her son, and then what her son did at school, and then it was talking about the different things that Instagram is doing, and then it got into posting, and then it talked about how to spell her name. So it was all different stuff, and it was her day, and she does it every day, right? So
Yeah,
it's what
that's
people are.
something that yeah, that's something that that people always say, and that's something that I teach people who I teach marketing to. Is I tell them, I'm like, Instagram stories is a great place for you to literally just you go get a cup of coffee, take a picture, show people you got a cup of coffee. You're going out to meet a friend, let everyone know you're going to meet a friend at a restaurant. If you're going shopping, show them that. If you're going to do a property tour, talk about that. If you just had a call with a buyer, share, like sharing everything. The thing that I think we spoke about last time when I came on Real Estate Skill Builder, I think your podcast was mostly marketing, but I think we touched on it that people are nosy. People want to know what's going on in your
That's
life,
right. That's why they want real
and
shit.
and they just want insight into what you're up to because they're interested. You may think that your life is boring, but really it's boring to you. It's not boring to someone else.
Right, exactly. And you know, people want to. You're right. People just want to be nosy and they want to see what you're doing. And here's the other thing, man. People worry about doing live stuff because if I make a mistake or I fumble over the word. My good buddy Matt Allman from Social Networks out in California says the imperfection is the connection. People
Yeah.
want to see that stuff. They want to see it because it stops them in their tracks when you make a mistake. We were talking earlier about Karen Carr. Karen has been on my broadcast a couple of times, and right before the first time she was on, which was about a year and a half ago, she said she was planning a video, and her joke was that she was going to fall as a joke, right? Oddly enough, what happened was when she got out of the car and she was being filmed by her husband, she actually did fall. And it was like, and she just cracked up laughing. And it was so real, she made it part of the video instead of having to fall later on. So, you know, it's like, you got to be real, man. You just got to be real.
And there's more authenticity on live because you can't go back and edit it.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So another thing I really wanted to touch on when it comes to social media, but another not necessarily social media, but marketing in general, because I want to bring it back to marketing strategy for 2021, and really diving in. Like I always tell people that they should be posting every single day, and obviously you should think about certain types of videos and pictures and images and written word that you want to share with your followers and with your community about the industry and business. But again, the lifestyle stuff, that should be organic. That should be just day in the life type stuff, which again is what you said. But I think when it comes to business, there are certain things that you can plan where if you want to create a buyer series and talk about tips, then once a week create a video to be able to do that and being able to post it. So I wanted to get your 2 cents on how scheduling posts, scheduling their day to be able to record or do any of those things, and how time blocking should become a part of their strategy on the marketing side, as well as I assume that they're doing it for their business as well, because that's what all real estate's about, is time blocking your day to make sure that you're doing the most productive, I would say, productive tasks uh, during certain periods of time. So I wanted to get your 2 cents on time blocking and scheduling and doing all that stuff for social media as well.
Yeah, I want to see, you know, time blocking is extremely important. I mean, time blocking and time management are two different things. A lot of people use those two words synonymously, and that's cool. My buddy David Greenspan up in Canada uses them synonymously. But the important part is when you time block, it is important to understand that it's almost like you have to lock yourself in. Time block equals lock time. It means non-negotiable. What I mean by that is you don't do anything else, right? This thing, if you're time blocking, gets turned off or on silent where you can't see it, right? Unfortunately, you've heard mine go off a few times because I didn't put it on silent, and I just put it on silent. But the thing is that you have to understand is the time block is very important. Now let's talk about content, right? So I've used several different names here. And I continue to use names simply because I believe I need to give the credit to things I've learned from a lot of different people. I'm going to bring on another name, Katie Lance. I learned from Katie that a long time ago, she talks about this all the time, is batching content, right?
Yep.
There's other experts that talk about it. I'm going to say they got it from Katie, just like I did, but batching content. So, and it's different for a male and a female, different for a man or a woman, right? So for a woman, I mean, you're going to get, let's face it, men don't have to worry about makeup. And unfortunately, a lot of men don't care how they look. But what we can do is if we're going to set up and do a video, set your room up, set up whatever you're going to do and have a couple of different shirts, maybe a jacket, maybe a hat, whatever, and do 5, 6, 7, 8 videos in a row, whether they're 1 minute or 20 minutes. Just do them. Have it all lined out, planned out. Have your content set up. So you can set them up and you can actually schedule them to go up. I believe you can do that through Creator Studio on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And you just schedule them and then they go out, right?
Well, also now, if you just go to your business page, if the first thing you do is upload a video, as soon as you upload it, it says create a title, do all the, like it basically does it all for you right then and there. So yeah, that's just another neat trick that people may not know.
Exactly. And it says you want to publish now or you want to publish it later. And you can just, you do that, you schedule that. And here's, as I said, the time block, which you mentioned, is so important, right? My buddy and your friend, Mark Stein, are big believers in time blocking. And it's part of what makes a lot of people successful is that they just get this done. So we have to plan the content. And a lot of people don't, well, what am I going to do it on? Do we want to do a series, as you said a minute ago, a series on getting a home ready for sale? I suggest that you decide to do stuff that not everybody else is doing. Because let's face it, how do I get my home ready for sale? Google that, go ahead. It's unlimited, right? What you're going to see, right?
Yeah, you'll find 20 different articles with the same stuff in it. Exactly.
Right, exactly. And everybody's getting this stuff. Like I like titles like 3 stupid things sellers do to get their homes ready. I like that title. It's different, right? Why buyers try to sabotage their purchase. Think about that one. Why do they do it? How do they sabotage their purpose? Could be the next one, right? So you just look at different things that you want to do. If you're in the business for any length of time, you've seen all the things that can happen. So that's a lifestyle type, educational type thing. And here's another thing. If anybody's watching this, write this down. There's a website where you can go and get a lot of information, get a lot of topics, and it's called answerthepublic.com.
Yeah, that's my favorite website to go to.
Right.
You get a free, you get to ask 2 free, I think, a day, right?
2 questions a day, right. And just type in home sellers or selling your home. And it's going to give you questions that people are typing into search engines currently and what they want to know about.
Exactly. And that could literally be the title of all the videos you create.
That's right. It's great. There's so many places. And then there's the aggregators and syndicators of content, right? My favorite really is Keeping Current Matters. Not because you got a blog there. That's one of the greatest reasons. But the other is all of the other information that's available, where it's also a learning portal for you as well. So those are my 2 go-to sites for content. And as I said,
I also go to the Homekeeper blog.
Okay.
Every real estate agent, I'm pretty sure, gets it for free, and that blog is integrated onto my website. It was the first thing I embedded onto my site, because every single day you create an account, they're posting a new blog for you, and it says written by by you. Like they brand the entire blog to you in a sense. So that's and it's home buyer tips, seller tips, season tips, cleaning tips, all that stuff. So it's a powerful tool also.
I want to caution everybody on the content that they use if they're going to sites, just to make sure that if you have to click on somewhere and it takes you somewhere else, make sure it's you that they're taking you to. Like, for instance, Keeping Current Matters, you get your own personal blog and only your links are there. If you go to Riz Media, you go to realtor.com, all these places, there's going to be hundreds of places that they can send you to get you away from you, because that's their goal, because they're charging people to be on there. The other thing that's really, really important when you
I wanted to just touch on something real quick where you say that like people should be blogging or posting blogs. The thing that people don't realize is when you create a video, you're basically, if you just wrote that out, if you wrote the entire video script out, you have a blog post right there. And a lot of people don't realize if you don't necessarily want to create videos, but let's say you're fine being on an image or anything like that, you can take a picture of yourself and then just write out what you would say in a video, because the best medium for you may be writing and maybe photos or maybe video. Obviously, I think we can agree that video is the great pillar type content, because you're able to mass produce it and cut it up and make clips and create more pieces of micro content through it. But again, everyone should do what's comfortable for them and what fits them. But yeah, I like that blog comment, because I think it was, I heard it probably from Ryan Serhant, where he basically said, he's like, his Instagram feed is basically, it's always photos of him or a listing or something, but he always posts something in the text to engage with the community. He types out his thoughts, his feelings, whatever it is at the time. So I feel like people can start blogging that way in the feed. It'll be a really good way for them to be able to also connect with their followers or people in their market as well.
That is such a great point, because Facebook can actually be your blog, right?
Exactly.
It can actually be your blog with a great image, and to get people to stop and read, right? And you need to understand white space, you need to understand spaces, you need to understand paragraphs should only be 1 or 2 sentences, so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that you need to do there, right? So yeah, that's a really, 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 really great point. Really great point.
And I feel like because we're talking about marketing and social media and branding and that type of stuff, I really wanted to discuss with you email marketing and your thoughts are, because I actually saw something that supposedly this year email marketing was probably one of the best ways to market for business, and I feel like one of the reasons is because everyone's home, but I feel like it also got to a point because we're so much on social media, people stopped doing email marketing. And I feel like times changed where people were always pushing email marketing, and now they're doing Facebook ads, and they're allocating more time to other things, and they're slipping on the email side. I've been doing an email newsletter for the past, I would say, 17 months, and it's been one of the best things for me. It's consistency, and I feel like it builds that long-term brand. I'm pretty sure you were on a podcast with Ricky Carruth, if I'm mistaken, because I'm pretty because Ricky Carruth always talks about email marketing, and literally ever since I watched that video of him saying I'm going to send an email every single week, it's something that I've strived to really achieve and be able to do. Obviously, you slip here and there, but
sure.
But you try to do it as much as you can.
Well, that's another thing you can schedule. Ricky Carruth was on my broadcast, Real Estate Talk TGIF, which shameless plug is Fridays at 11 a.m. on my personal page on Facebook.
You guys should definitely check that out. Obviously, go back and look at the one that I was on. Talk about marketing.
So here it is, guys. So we talk about email marketing, right? So if you're sending depends on what kind of a list you have. Let's just talk about your sphere of influence. Let's just talk about that, right? The important part of your sphere of influence is for them to know, like, and trust you. And this is why your SOI is that important. And I'm just going to use that and also bring in the other pillars of business, right? So there's 7 main pillars of business. Your sphere of influence, visible as expires with drones, social media, open houses, and circle prospecting. I'm not going to tell you why circles last, but these are how my pillars are taught in my program, right? So the point is that you need to connect with all of those people on there, but it starts with your SOI. And you need to be what I call omnipresent with your sphere of influence, with your past customers and your current customers. How do you do that, right? So people say, I'm not leaving email marketing. Just bear with me for a second. You need to post. You need to, actually send snail mail. You need to make phone calls. You need to be everywhere online, right? You need to target and remarket who you are and what you do. When you do that and you send a regular email, you're going to boost your notoriety and boost your presence because people are actually going to see your email, and actually your open rate is going to soar when you are everywhere, right? Marketing to a cold list, which is a marketing to a list you buy, there are certain rates that are good for that. Marketing to a list that have opted in, there's certain open rates for that. Marketing to your sphere of influence, who you stay in touch with, there's certain rates for that. And they're going to range from 3% on up to 50 to 75. So open rates, don't get too concerned about. To be concerned about segregating your list and who you know is communicating with you, which will always help if you have a system where you can see who's opening and who's not opening. Because a system, you can always resend that same email to people that didn't open it. Right.
Yeah, that's what I do. I have constant contact. Literally, as soon as I set up an email marketing campaign, it literally says send now, and then you could also say send in a day to those who don't open. And I always check that box because might as well. It's another email.
So a lot of times, some things, depending on what you're putting in your email, is going to trigger it going to spam, is going to trigger other things. You want to make sure you're very careful about what you're sending. Like I will probably every third or fourth email I send out has a video link in it. So it's an image and the image is linked. Or sometimes I'll just send a link in the email, right? You want to test that to see how it's opened. But email was the first way we marketed ourselves online. One of the things you have to understand is that years ago, what happened, and for you guys that watching this that are youngsters, let me explain to you how marketing used to work, right? So me being a kid years ago, I liked fishing, right? And I could never get to the store that I could buy lures in or fishing equipment. So some way, somehow I got a magazine. And in that magazine was an ad for buy fishing equipment or buy this, that, and the other thing. I got into making my own lures, tying my own flies, etc. And it was fun, right? So what happens is that you send orders, you send for the magazine, a week or so later it comes, you go in the magazine, you rip out the form, the order form, you write it out, and you send a check. We didn't really like credit cards back then. This is really going back. This is really going back, guys, okay? And in turn, what would happen is they send you your order with another catalog. Catalog sales were big. When I was growing up, the Sears Christmas catalog was like the biggest thing in my family. It's what we would always figure out what we wanted and send a letter to Santa. Or we'd make sure my mom saw, we give her the list so she could send it all to Santa because I was the youngest of 8 kids. So, we did it in bulk, right? Made sense.
Yeah.
But as things changed and we still did catalog buying and online buying, emails got to be a big thing. So if you were able to build a list, and all the great marketers still today, like Frank Kern and Russell Brunson, started the way I'm talking to you about. It was about email. It was all about email marketing. And they had it set up, right? And we were talking about this offline earlier, how they did it and what they did and what they gave away and what they charged you for, right? The point I'm making is that email marketing is not going away. It is like when I teach my sphere of influence course, I talk about the old ways, the new ways, and now I've just added a new section, the post-COVID ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
The old ways include mail, call, mail, email. That's the old ways, because we started emailing in the 90s. Really, that's when it really started, really picked up, right? So my point is really simple. Email is still as important as it was in the 90s. It's just how you approach it and how you support it. And it needs to be supported by social media, by you making phone calls, et cetera, et cetera. People are more likely to open your email if they already know who you are.
And if they like, know, and trust you. Exactly.
Right.
Well, the last thing I wanted to touch on is if you could give 2 cents to a brand new agent just starting out, uh, doesn't really have a sphere of influence, what would your advice be to someone like that?
That's
Just as
like a 90-minute class, what you just asked me.
I'm thinking about it more as like as the new year starts, and I feel like a lot of people decide in December, like this time of year, they decide if they're going to get into real estate, and they usually end up starting the first of the year, New Year's resolution. Someone who's been in the business for maybe 2, 3, 4 months hasn't done a deal, and it's like they're in the business, they're young, they're 18, 19, 20 years old, like
Right.
they're more on the younger side, so
Right.
most of the people they know aren't interested in buying real estate. But what would your 2 cents for them to be in terms of, should it be finding a mentor? Should it be choosing a brokerage that's going to have them shadow an agent? Is it someone who's going to give them leads? Like, what should be their first real thing that they should focus on in 2021?
If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for one day. If you
Love
teach
this
a
quote.
man to fish, he'll
You
never
feed
go
them for a
hungry.
year. You feed them for
Here's
life. Yeah.
here's the answer. You need to do this. You need to pick this up, and it's called dialing, but no one knows what dialing really is. But you need to dial the phone. You need to pick up the phone, and you need to call people. So in order to do that, having a mentor or coach is extremely important. Going to a brokerage where you have someone that's standing beside you, or having a coach that's willing to stand beside you. You have to understand, the real estate business is not a hobby. Yes, you can do it part-time. Matter of fact, it's one of my specialties is working with agents for part-time agents, right? Because years ago in my brokerage, nobody wanted part-timers. I want part-timers. Okay. So you have to pick up the phone and you have to do the work. You have to make sure that you're prospecting. You have to know the market. So your daily routine, it's really important to have a daily routine. Practice scripts, make the phone calls, make sure you know the market. How do you know the market? Preview homes, either in person or digitally. Do things that other agents refuse to do, which is a lot, and just work hard. I mean, there's a lot of things to do. There's so many things. Like I said, it's a 90-minute class just to get an agent started. But picking up the phone is the most important thing. And if you have an issue with picking up the phone, get role play partners. I personally have 2 role play partners, and I've been in this business for 40 years.
Yeah. I would say I agree with all that. I think going through your phone and calling all the contacts is a great way to just let them know you're in the business. And then I would say for all the youngsters out there who are thinking about getting into the business or just starting out, be the young agent, and be proud of the fact that you're brand new, that you're hungry. And I would say post as often as possible on social media. You have the time to do it and invest in it now while you're trying to build that business. And I feel like now is the best time to be on social media and build a business online. So don't be afraid to go on and just make a post. Literally just say, hey, I'm in real estate, if you need anything, reach out. Literally simple as that is better than nothing. And I would say just to start. And I want to give a huge shout out to Dave for coming on today's episode, and just let everyone know where they can find you, Dave.
Sure. Well, you can find me on Facebook at Dave Fanale. My public page is David Fanale, and you can also see Real Estate Skill Builder, which is my group. dfanale@gmail.com. All my information is on my personal page, which is more than I can say for 80% of the agents out there. Your secret agents, you need to change that. But like I said, tomorrow, Real Estate Talk TGIF is episode 131 tomorrow, and it's Fridays at 11 a.m. Come listen and learn and ask questions.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for staying tuned for this episode. I'll be going live next week, Thursday, same time, 11:15, 11:20 a.m. Eastern time. I'm going to link Dave's bio and information in the description below in the comments. So make sure to go check him out and stay tuned for his episode tomorrow. Again, Dave, thanks so much.
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you on the next one, everybody.